Well, good morning to you. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. And good morning to you. It is long overdue. It is long overdue. I've had to speak to the conscious black community for this morning. I'm finally inspired because we are coming up on Indigenous People Day. So it is by reason that my spirit will catch on to the energy, and I would want to speak on this, and I would want to address this very important group of people. Very important group of people, but you have to understand the United States to know exactly who I'm speaking about. I don't hate the conscious black community. I don't want to argue with you. A majority of the people in the conscious black community, they want to argue all the time. And the reason why they want to argue is because that's how they find out information. If they can sit you down and question you and argue with you, then they will learn better about themselves. And that's the nut of a majority of the conscious black community. I just described it in one sentence what you have been destroying for over 200 years. The conscious black community is a very important group of people. On one hand, they will appear like they are sharing, like they are welcome, and they act like CIA agents. They want to know where, and then they mishmash it into another rhetoric, and I will explain what that other rhetoric is. But for the most part, I don't want to argue. I don't hate anybody. I don't hate you. Okay? When I first started developing my own thesis, I used to hang with black people, but then I started hanging around with super rich black people, and I saw the difference between the super rich black people and the conscious black people, and I decided that to study the latter as well. And what I realized about the rich black people, their point of view, their ways of doing things, their ways of going about life is closer. So I decided to learn from the rich black people and to let them teach me more. One thing you will understand about the African American community, one thing that you can say in general is you will find someone to help you. But you got to be careful of how you take that help, because that help can also bind you into slavery. Because if the help is truly genuine, then they should help their family members first and foremost. Their family members, they help their communities, they adopt children that are left motherless, they pay for school, they help the people in their immediate vicinity around looking for what was closer to my reality. So I don't owe the conscious black community any apology. Your own African American community is divided into bits of pieces of communities that you have destroyed. So let's talk about the people to whom I'm really speaking. I'm talking about the argumentative motherfuckers. I'm talking about the conscious black people who are, most of them are just struggling. Arguing in the streets, looking dirty in the streets. So those are the people that waste a lot of young people. They waste a lot of young people because they talk a lot, they argue a lot, and it may seem attractive. But at the end of the day, what it's going to do is going to create a bunch of young men arguing with women. So let's talk about the males, but they do not possess the logic. They do not possess the wealth to carry out their mental state. That's a mental illness. That's a mental illness. If you think you're above the women, but you don't possess the characteristics that reality demands to govern those women and to project a sense of authority, then you're sick. You're thinking what you are in your mind, but you ain't meeting that in your reality. But you're not curbing to reality. You're not curbing to God to accept your reality. Your mind is still asking for privileges that your reality has not earned. You are asking for privileges that your reality has not earned. Your mind is not catching up to what your reality is projecting. That's a mental illness because you want to keep the mental illness. You want to keep the mental projection. You want to tell people, well, I'm the boss. I'm the king. I'm a king. I'm a great Egyptian king. I'm a Ra. I'm in Ra. And then you want to say all these Ra's, but then at the same time, the state of living is not catching up to what your mind wants the women to adhere to. Your mind wants the women to wash your feet, kiss your feet, cook your food, but then you don't even have a decent home for that woman to do all of that. You see how you most likely cannot say he's conscious and he's woke. The same black man is going to suggest for his women to do crazy shit in public. He's going to want to fuck you in public. He's going to want to demean you in public. He's going to want to do a whole lot of shit with you in public. But at the same time, those actions are not actions of woke, conscious males. In his state, because he wants to be a woke, conscious black male, he wants to have two women. Culture doesn't even belong to him, number one. And secondly, he has not even studied the culture enough to understand it's purely financial. In his mental illness, he disregards the financial liability of having two wives. He wants the glory of having two wives. I've met this guy. He was so handsome, guys. We were not lovers. He was so handsome. He was attracted to me. I was also attracted to him. We were not lovers, but at the same time, he explained to me that he wanted many wives. And then me, I didn't really understand it, but we were friends. We used to take walks together, you know. Friends, I like friends. I like male friends sometimes because I like to do outdoor stuff. I like to play sports outdoor. I like to go fishing. Some things like that. And most likely the males will do it. You'll find a couple of females, the wives, want attention. They want attention. So this male, one day I just wanted him to help me with something. You know, I do heavy lifting. I need the help of men. If I don't have my own, I'm gonna need the help of men. I either pay or men who help me. Okay, so the pay or men who help me. Okay, so one day I needed to hitch because I sell trailers. I needed to hitch a particular trailer, and that day I couldn't do it on my own. I called him when I couldn't do it on my own. I called him. When I called him, guess who picked up the phone? A woman. And, you know, we were nice to each other. I could say that. And she's like, I'm his wife. I said, really? I said, oh, that's very nice. Tell him I called. She said, can I take a message? I said, yeah, tell him I called. She's like, he's in the shower. I said, oh, really? I said, well, I said, who are you? I mean, like, I'm curious. I'm not asking because I'm somebody. I just want to know what the fuck this nigga's up to. You know what I mean? Wouldn't you ask? I said, who are you? She's like, I'm his wife. I was like, oh, that's nice. He never told me about you. I'm going to tell the truth, okay? Because if we're buddies and we're not even in the state where we are sleeping together or having sex or kissing or fondling or doing anything sexual, why shouldn't I know about your wife? I want to know about your wife. That will make us better friends. I don't want to be her friend, but at least I know even if I flirted with you once or twice, I'll stop. You know? These woke motherfuckers, they want you to desecrate yourself. They want you to fold yourself. They want you to take out all your fucking plumage. If you are a pawn, and a pawn is a translation for a pig. What is a pawn? The pawn is that bird with all the beautiful feathers, and they are long and they expand into a fan. That's not a peacock. Is that a peacock? What is a pawn? If you are a pawn, these niggas would pull out all your fucking feathers and wear it on their back and call themselves a pawn. They are such greedy animals. They call themselves all sorts of names. Vampires, Egyptians. Some of them call themselves gods. Reincarnations of this, that, the other. It's a full-blown mental illness in the black community. For those who call themselves conscious, woke, come on. Come on. And with me, I'm an African-American leader. Of course, I'm a Haitian leader, but I'm also an African-American leader. So when I to contest what I'm saying, I dare anyone. Come on the platform. I'll call you on live. I will go on camera and we can have a discussion. And I'm not going to have a discussion with a lame, mentally ill motherfucker. I'm calling the Boyce Watkins, the Thomas Sotomayor's, the propagandists of the black community, of the woke, conscious black people. Those are propagandists. Those are the marketers, the future, the people whom they will have to choose amongst the lesser of the qualified. Those are not regular men. Those are not men. Those are just petty males. Those are just petty males. Okay? The what do you call that other one? The Umar Johnson. Umar Johnson, something recently happened to Umar Johnson, of conscious woke male he is, the black male, the black people, so called. Okay, because the African American community is divided. If you don't know it, you will never know it. So, but they want you to be all black people because that's how they take you into petty slavery. You go into the bandwagon and you start calling yourself black people this and black people that, they will conquer you into slavery. That's how they get you to come into slavery, with the black people rhetoric. Because when I hang out with my rich black people friends, they're not on that shit. Don't believe the fucking hype of the conscious, woke, petty, broke persons who are just angry and who don't have, most of those people, they don't have the capability to handle their poverty. And they don't want to work because the type of work they are summoned to do, they don't want to do it because in their minds they are kings. Me, I don't give a damn, and I grew up, I don't do a certain type of work. It's God's grace. But if I were to put in a situation where I had to do any type of work, I would not give a fuck about my degrees. I would do it. Because for me, work is work, earning is learning, and moving to the next step is moving to the next step. And that reality about the United States, a rich black person had to teach me that. Because you can get stuck with the broke black persons in their rhetoric and their protests and their anger and their arguments. And they argue a lot because that's the way they learn things. They don't want to really go through the miles of learning. They want to argue all the time. Don't worry, me, I have a lot of rich black persons in my circle. A lot. So I'm not shook by the broke person's rhetoric or by the rhetoric of destruction. When you really see the majority of the woke conscious black people, they are here to destroy you. They're here to argue with you and they're here to call you black people just like that. So you can commit to slavery, so they can rise on your back. Because they don't want to work. Most of them don't want to work. So, like I was saying, the state of males, because the males present the most problems. The woke males, because they want to govern. So I was going to give an example of Umar Johnson because something recently happened to Umar Johnson. Me, I already knew something was about to happen to Umar Johnson the day before. Because the day before I had a post that came up on the memory stream. You know how you're on Facebook and the memory pops up? And the memory for me was a memory where I was supporting him, and that in the midst of about to support Umar Johnson, something happened to me. Because I am spiritually blessed, I can discern truth from just history. I can just discern logic and not even from truth, or logic from history, or logic from what you're telling me. So my ancestors blessed me with that, and they still do. And so as I was about to share the memory, because I remembered everything about Umar Johnson, and I said, he ain't right. Something is about to happen, and I did not post the memory. That same week, I think it was the day after, Umar Johnson was on live. He was doing a live broadcast. And then suddenly the camera flipped on Umar Johnson. When the camera flipped on Umar Johnson, what did it reveal? And I want all the fake Haitian Negroes, all the Haitian slaves, all the Haitian descendants of slaves, I want you to leave my country. I want you to go to the American embassy. I want you to get visas to wherever. I want you to go to the Chile, to the Brazilian. I want you to get the F out of Hispaniola. All of you slaves, I don't care if you're Dominican slaves, you got to leave Hispaniola. My spirit is going to chatter that until you people feel uncomfortable enough to get a visa and leave. Because what you've been doing to the island is pure crime. It's pure terrorism. You've been playing light skin, black people, slavery, games of the slaves, and you disregard the people who were there before the slaves. the people who are losing their lands, their history, their memorabilia, their artifacts, their spiritual relationships to their land, to their pieces of rocks, to their pieces of trees, to everything on the land. That's how we maintain the spiritual relationship. And you people destroy our spiritual relationships with our spiritual families. Our connections to the universe sometimes is shattered because you people intervene. You intervene with your Jesus, you intervene with your big boss, with your sponsors of the big media, the big elites, and your missions of CIA, government, elitists, religious associations. You people are wrong, you people are destructive, and you people don't stop. May God intervene, may the Supreme Being intervene. When you look at the country's black people, when you look at most of them, they are scared of Mother Nature because they don't have a relationship with Mother Nature. They are scared. So for all of you Haitian slaves who are copying Umar Johnson, who are copying Tommy Sotomayor, it's a few characters in the Haitian community who are copying these monkeys. And call me whatever the hell you want because they are monkeys. You people do not understand. Some humans display the behaviors of animals. And when we can connect you to an animal, you get mad. Some people are snakes. Some people are monkeys. Some people are monkeys. Scratch your fucking behind and sniff it. Monkey bitch. These males are monkey humans. They're not real males. Those are males who think they can come in public and bamboozle the community and really defecate in our faces, defecate on our works, defecate on our pride, defecate on our values, defecate on our ethics, defecate on our morality, drag our morality to the level where immorality becomes popular, where lies take the forefront. Come on, you people are doing a disservice to Mother Nature, and that's why most of the conscious woke black people, they're afraid of Mother Nature. They're afraid. Whenever it starts storming and raining hard, they hide. They get afraid. They're afraid because they know they're not right with God. They know they're not. So when you look at the petty Haitian slaves, the descendant of the Haitian slave, the little males who are in the United States mimicking Umar Johnson, mimicking Boyce Watkins, mimicking those foolish persons, mimicking Martin Luther King Jr., mimicking Malcolm X, it's just a play. You're mimicking people who are playing you. And you bringing that same rhetoric to your own community. How do you feel? How do you understand yourself in the present service that you are disservicing your own place of geography? Because the slaves, they don't have the same bloodline as I do. I don't recognize the slaves for being relevant to Hispaniola. They have taken us to so much turmoil. Because wherever the slaves go, they always see themselves as they're not. They see themselves as other images. So let's go back to Dr. Umar. As Dr. Umar was broadcasting, suddenly, and let me tell you something, social media will do that to you. Like they've done that to me. They will flip your fucking camera. Child, they will flip your camera. And I'm not kidding. Social media, the people who are with the motherboards, they'll flip your cameras. The people in the backgrounds, they'll flip your cameras sometimes. They'll fuck with you. That depends on your attitude and stuff. They'll fuck with you. They will. I used to know a few kids that worked for these major social media networks. These were just kids when I knew them. 19, 20 years old when I knew them. They'll fuck with you sometimes. Just take it easy on social media, you revolutionary, senseless Negroes. Take it easy. Because the reality of the United States is going to remain the reality of the United States. And you cannot keep taking your people to nonsense missions. You cannot keep taking your people to Tuskegee and then 20 years later and say, I didn't do it, it's a conspiracy, see a conspiracy. Come on now. So Dr. Umar's camera flipped and it revealed a filthy, dirty house. Ladies and gentlemen, he must be going through a terrible state of depression. It was so much clutter, so much dirt on top of dirt in Dr. Umar Johnson's house. Hey. The next day, social media went crazy, but that's the conscious black males. They want to come on the public, put on their fucking hats, their big clothes, their African kente, they wear Kawi, they were Egyptians, they wear it all at the same damn time. They were the Ankwa, the Amwa, the Ampla, the Kente, the Pektes, the Kufi, the Kawi, the They are at the same time they are Christians. They believe in Jesus. At the same time they studied Islam at the same time. I don't hate any of you guys. I just don't want to argue, okay? Because a lot of you argue with me and you start repeating my words and you start thinking that you can just take my rhetoric and shift it. I don't want to argue with any of you Negroes. That's what you do. That's what you specialize in. You specialize in arguing. Who can argue better than Malcolm X? Get the fuck out of here. You think I want to argue with Malcolm X? I don't want to argue with you Negroes. I don't know why you are assaulting me and why you meet me. You think you can conduct interviews with me. I'm not on your territory. You are in my continent. I'm not on your territory. This is where you from, police. I don't have time for that. Real life is here. I have constructive black people in my life. And we do life. We don't focus on you as an Egyptian god, because I don't see your wealth as an Egyptian god. Like, I'm not going to believe you're an Egyptian god unless I can see a big house, big cars, multiple cars. If Floyd Mayweather came here, like you, let me tell you something about me. If you were an Egyptian god, I would tell you, like, there is a person that I called an Egyptian god. And that's because he reflects it. That's because he is. They put the spirit of an Egyptian god on this guy, and I'm gonna tell you what his name is. He's one of my favorite boxers to hate. Deontay Wilder. Oh, if Deontay Wilder finishes his training. Oh my God, he doesn't belong in the freaking boxing ring. Deontay Wilder should be in the MMA or something else, guys. Like, this is the kind of fighter you don't want to fight. Because he has a sphinx on him. Deontay Wilder has a sphinx on him. You petty Negroes. I cannot stop. Like, I got eyes. Yes. You could be a phenomenal body. When you look at this guy coming into the ring, he's possessed. Yo, that shit is phenomenal. Something like a phenomenal. That's it. I see you. Hey. The African American community, there's a part of them that play with spirits, that play with the demonic spirits a lot. And then they believe in Jesus. They wear the kente, they have a Quran. They do everything. And let me tell you, some of them know how to tap into it, and they do it. And those people, they know Deontay Wilder, honey. When he comes into the ring, he is not himself. He is an Egyptian god. That I can say, yes, there he is. You cannot. He rose to his status, to his body's fulfilled. He filled his body's potential. Some of you have not even been able to fill your own body's potential. You fucking look like broomsticks. But we are all supposed to fill our own body's potential first. First. If you a freaking god, let me see you. Manifest, bitch. I've met a few demons. I've met a few humans that had PowerPoints. That's different because as a human, you cannot contest the gods. And you cannot contest God. And the English language is a trap. Because look how I just used God 2 times and I didn't mean the same thing, but who am I? This is the English language. Did I create it? Am I going to stop speaking my logic because of the traps? No. If you get it, you get it. You don't get it, then so be it. We move on. Because that's the language we all have to use. I ain't getting trapped into it. So, for the better part of this lecture, tell yourself that you cannot contest God. And if you're going to call yourself a God, you better be Deontay. You better be Floyd Mayweather. But even Didi cannot call himself a god for the sacrifices that have been carried on Didi. Didi is nothing but a recipient, a wastebasket. Reciprocal, excusez-moi, not recipient, a reciprocal. So for the most part of the country's black community, the males are broke, they don't want to work. They have this ego, they get out in the streets wearing all these strange fashion, they are fashionistas. I don't want to argue with you. If you ever meet me in the fucking shit and you argue with me, I will not pay you no mind. I don't want to argue with you on social media no more. I'm done. I'm done with this experiment of the earth. You motherfuckers project the worst of beings. And when people compare you to animals, you act like you're offended, like somebody's racist. Motherfucker, you act like a baboon most of the time. And then you act like a jackal, repeat, and you start repeating after me because you act like a jackal. Shades. But the things that you want, and then let's talk about the women briefly. For the women who are part of the conscious woke black community, they become abused because the males don't listen to them. But for the most part, a majority of them will really have good sense, but the men will take the good sense away from them. The best thing in the United States is the African American woman. That's the best thing. When she is in her right aim, you can't stop her, you can't fuck with her. But for the people who call themselves conscious woke, why are they so woke? Because they're not listening to their women. They're not using the women for the right reason, they are abusing the women. For the most males who call them, they come to the home of a woman on welfare, Section 8, food stamps, other government aids. And to them, they come into that home to government, and it's always going to be a conflict. For the women have antennas. And it doesn't make any sense for a woman for you to come into my home as a Section 8 recipient and you calling yourself a king. Where was the home you built for me? And when you ask that man for the home, he says, money ain't nothing. You ain't seen me for who I am. You ain't seen... I know nobody wake up of a woke motherfucker, woke broke. And then that same motherfucker will try to hurt you. If you don't agree that he's a king and you don't agree to sacrifice yourself to fit his notion of mental illness, because if he's a king, where is the kingdom? So when I'm talking to you guys, I'm going to take opportunity to finish painting my nails. My nails have to stay sharp all the time because they are so long and beautiful. If I make a mistake of one day and allowing them to go bad, and they look very bad. If you meet me, you will not know it was just one day. You'll be like, oh my God, her nails look so bad. But so I have to keep up my nails, ladies and gentlemen. And it's always a pleasure because they're so beautiful. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that's how it goes down. You know what I mean? So for the most people who are in the woke black conscious community, they turn films into reality because that's how they anchor their mental illness. So they will mimic Menace to Society. The most recent has been of Black Panther. That's how they make business. That's how they finally earn a little money, because they can take something that they always believe fiction and then start turning it into reality. So 20 years later, they'll be like, this is, what do they call that Black Panther village that they call again? Muzumba? What is the name of it, guys? The Muzum. Come on. What is the name of that place? That perfect place that the African American will go to? Zugumba? So they call it that. What I mean, I apologize if I don't have to fucking apologize for a fucking movie. Fuck all that shit. So it's our place. It's not. It's in a film. It's a film. Relax. And they did the same thing to so much. That's how they make a little money. The T-shirts, the cups and stuff, and that's their business. The business of racism belongs to them. And when racism is down, they make no money. If there is no racism today, they will make zero money. No NYPD, NOPD, LAPD, no case with nobody. If racism were to die today, these people will just stay miserable, broke, poor, nameless, senseless for the rest of their lives. For the majority of the males do not want to go out to work, and they do not want to create real work for themselves either. And for the most part, the woke conscious black community don't actually support each other, because we are all in the United States. We are all going to support me. I support all businesses of small businesses. So whether it's small businesses, if it's like a small businesses that will sell good Irish liquor, I'll go buy good Irish liquor. Like I have very good business that I support, like places like New Orleans. I go to community book center. I love the women. They work hard. They have their all full senses. They are knowledgeable. Of course, everybody should support, but most of the time they don't. Bonjour, bonjour, Madame Lisa Joassin. Bonjour. I'm giving my own lecture on the conscious work black community. I don't hate you. I just don't want to argue with you. So if I stay away from you, it's because I don't want to argue, and I'm tired of people squeezing me for my knowledge and then putting it in books, acting like it belongs to them. Like I'm tired. Like I've had my share of the conscious black people squeezing my share of the conscious black people squeezing me, purging me, and then turn around and tell me what me, purging me, and then turn around and tell me what. And the same people that were mimicking my veve, my everything, took all my knowledge of herbs and everything, took all my knowledge of herbs and everything, put it in books, and then the same black people turn to me and say, idiot shit. So I don't want to argue with you. I don't want to go through the motions with you because you've already stolen as much as you can of my culture, and now it's yours. Take it and run with it. But whatever else you need to know of the mystical life of, I don't have it. Deserve to earn it. I'm not going to share information with people who don't deserve it. And that's how the universe will punish you. When you're giving information to people who have not earned it from the universe. Information that you can pay the university is information you can pay the university. Information that Mother Nature disperses to you because you're special. If you're special, let Mother Nature disperse it to you. If you have a relationship with God, let God teach you those things. But don't come and drag it out of me on the court of argument. Oh no, shit. I don't want to have that kind of argument with the slaves, or the conscious slaves, or the conscious woke slaves, or the conscious black community, or whatever. I don't, because your reality is not manifesting the shit you're saying, and it's mental illness. You say you a king, you a pharaoh. Where are the world? I want some of it, and I'm happy to meet you. Hell yeah, I'm happy to meet the king of Pharaoh. And when I start looking for the gold, you start calling me a gold digger. God damn. Oh, snazzy, snazzy, snazzy. How can I be a gold digger when you tell me you're a pharaoh, you're a king? If I'm looking for the gold, I'm not wrong. And that's how they defame their own women. They start calling their own women gold diggers because the women are looking for what they say they got. Because if you got it, you should have an abundance of. I'm your woman, shower me with that. But no, they'll talk, argue. They always want to argue. And in the argument, they will make you feel like you did something. Oh, you disrespecting my culture. What culture? You're a pharaoh? Where's the freaking gold? Where's the gold? Let me repeat, guys. I don't know if you guys know who Deontay Wilder is. Deontay Wilder, he's not a sphinx, but when he gets in the ring, he's possessed by a sphinx. He's one of the African Americans that I can say has reached a point where whatever crew he's with, they know how to do that shit. They have attained the right way to project the spirits and to let the spirit mount him, bind him. I don't know how they've done it, but when he gets in the ranks, when he's walking in that ring, that's a sphinx, and he's about to destroy you. Do not punish me and burden me that I have to turn you, that I have to agree. Like, stay away from me, please, because I don't want to participate in people's mental illness. Because when I don't, you think I'm bad, you think something is wrong with me. You're not a sphinx. I know plenty of people who are living comfortably in the hood. They're comfortable with that. We are neighbors. We are all living comfortably in the hood. We don't need you to come and tell us we're sphinx. I'm a sphinx, and then they want you to think of yourself as a sphinx too. If he says he's an Egyptian god, I'm supposed to say, all right, I'm a goddess. For the many girls you see on Facebook wearing the head of Nefertiti and all of that, they all think they are Egyptian goddess. Woman, where is your palace? Where are your servants? Where are your slaves? If you pay attention to these people yourself, and then they will run and take your crown and then say, woo, you ain't shit. They are very tricky people. They are the nut of the problem in the African American community because they refuse to work and they refuse to create valid work. Like, go learn things that will give you money, and most of them do not even sustain their parents' wealth. So they're not even acting like real Africans. Most of them act like women. Most of them cannot live with women because they have given themselves too many bad habits. And most of them, they are too mentally ill to live with women because most women will want reality. When you're telling a woman, I'm a king, I'm a sphinx, and then she's pulling out her food stamp card, get the fuck. When you get home, you're going to want to beat her because she doesn't want to do certain things. But you telling her you're a sphinx, you're telling her you're a king, you're telling her you're an African king, You wearing all these freaking jewelry. You doing all these. You wearing all these copper, all these things. No diamonds, no freaking royalty, no status. And then she has to pull out a food stamp card. Go to work, cook, clean, yourself a fucking martyr or sacrifice just so you can say you're a king, you're a sphinx. Is that love? Me, I don't believe in those kind of love. Fuck that shit. No longer. I no longer because I fell in that trap, man. And that's how they destroy young people. That's how they keep an huge amount of the young people in darkness, in poverty, with those kind of nonsense rhetoric. It is them who destroy. And they propagate it. They put it on t-shirts. They encourage it. They have parties about it. Just to encourage poverty, mental illness. Whatever comes in the fiction, they want to turn it into reality because that's a comfortable moment to imagine. And if you cannot fit into their imagination, you're not worth it. You're considered an enemy. I'm not here to sustain people's mental illness. Please stay away from me because I'm staying away from you. The reality for me is that when you're working hard, you're working hard. And you will see the result of your work. These people don't even want to work hard in their own business. Burden the women, burden the children, because they don't want to work. They want to be kings. They don't want to work. I know so many older men right now who are so broke because they spent their years acting like kings, wearing big robes, big African stuff on them, wearing fashion. They never worked. Their women was working, but now the women is retired. That money is not enough for you, bitch. Move on. Go in a nursing home somewhere if you worked enough for that. Most of these males are future nursing home patients. They are bragging. Those are the males who brag. Oh, my son is a doctor. My son is a lawyer. But at the same time, when the son was young, they never contributed. They were walking around with big robes, acting like African kings, but they never worked. They never contributed to the household. The family was being sustained by the mother. The mother created the lawyer, but they bragged like they did. They're comfortable with fiction. They're not comfortable with the reality. The minute you push into reality, you are the worst enemy. The worst enemy. Do not go to reality with the conscious woke black people. Like you got one of them called Tommy Sotomayor. Oh my God. This Negro is a sick Negro. He's criticizing black people, but at the same time, he's keeping the bill. He fits the bill of a CIA member, him and the others. They fit that bill. They're just squirrels looking for a nut, that's all. That's all they are. Good morning, YouTube. Good morning, Facebook. I'm broadcasting on both platforms today because I want to speak to the woke community, to the woke. That was a slip. That was not intentional. I want to speak to the woke community, to the conscious African American community. I want to let them know I don't want to argue. Stop arguing with me. Stop squeezing me for information. Stop stopping me in the street when I speak. Asking me where the fucking police. You're not from the Americas. You're not from the Africas. So chill. Chillax. Go find out where you're from before you ask me where I'm from. At least I know where I'm from. Give me a fucking break in the United States. I don't owe you any fucking allegiance for the United States. You came to the United States piggybacking on my black skin. Now chill. Okay, because I'm no longer participating in the black people rhetoric. I'm no longer doing that because it's not useful. There's no such thing as a black race. Let everybody go and start living our lives together. White, yellow, purple, find people with whom you share the most qualities and enjoy yourself. Your children, build for your future. Find comfort in great places, in cleanliness. Cleanliness has no color. A good hygienic situation has no color. Do not take everything dirty and be like, well, that's the hood, that's ghetto, we proud of that. When? Since when? Since when was my culture all about that? And you want to make me about that? You want to pop your vagina all over, everywhere. Every screen should have your vagina. Since when was my culture about that? And then you want to make it a black people thing. When it's bad, it's all black people. When it's great, it's your Martin Luther King, it's your Malcolm X, it's your Frederick Douglass. But when it's ratchet shit, you want to share it with everybody around the world. Get the fuck out of here. So I don't want to argue with any persons of any black color or any brown color who's going to tell me I hate myself just because I don't want to be ratchet and I don't want to participate in immorality. Good morning, meets. I have a lot of Haitians around me. Most of the people around me are African Americans. For the most part, I love African American culture. I just refuse to take songs and manifest them in reality. I love the music a lot. But that's me pretending, and when I get out my car and that music is over, it's over. That's the relationship is over. Once I turn off that radio, I turn off that music, it's over. But for the majority, most people will turn off that music and walk into their house feeling like they got two guys by themselves. They just swap. No, it was just an imaginary picture that we all enjoyed, and we imagined that we were both robbing banks. Excuse, and that was it. The people in Delhi, and then what the image of the African American woke woke conscious community want to project is that it's all like good, but it's not. Because at the end of the day, I live in the hood with the rest of the African American community, and we all have to go to work. We all have to get up and be reality. And I don't see any African American person in the hood walking around screaming black, black, black. People are trying to get on with their lives. For that, but you have this group of people, and they want to make you think that's all black people do every day. Wake up every day and be like black, 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 black. No. No. The black community doesn't have time for that every day, and they want to make you think that's what it is. No. Listen, have you ever gone to a factory? Most of those people are American men and women who work hard. They don't have time for that. And in most of the that rhetoric of black power, black people, it doesn't even sustain their own lives. Nobody's walking around the community saying, you white, get the fuck out of here. No. They live like families. We all live like families when we are in the same community. Nobody's screaming after nobody. Well, they want to make you think like, oh, there is a community. There is no community where everybody's chasing after people and manifesting hate and no. So for the times it happened, you people deal with your rhetoric, you deal with your propaganda yourselves. But do not force other people to join the few times when we all have a reality to maintain. So I'm waiting for your kingdom. I'm waiting for the big kingdom, the big palace, the servants, the fields of gold. I'm waiting. Because it's a lot of times I find a lot of African American males who like me, and sometimes they say they love me. And they tell me they're kings. I really get excited because I know a few queens and kings. And they got wealth. So when these Negroes tell me they are kings, I'm like, really? Well, I had to do this. I had to quit my job 2 weeks ago. What? All right. My baby, I gotta go breastfeed my baby. I'll be right back. Oh, you breastfeeding a baby? Yes, I gotta go breastfeed my baby. I'll be right back. Let me go get chargers for my. Well, I don't really have any hatred towards any of you. I just wish you motherfuckers would leave me alone. Let me be. Stop harassing me in the streets. Stop making problems at the workforce. Stop attacking my money. And most of you do not even support businesses because most of you don't have money. So me, I'm the type of person that will go support business. I'll go support black people business, black community business, black movement businesses. I do, and I love me a bean pie. Listen, I support black businesses. So all of the rhetoric you're speaking, you cannot match me because I support the money. The rhetoric that you're speaking to me, you're spewing is not affecting me. It's not changing my logic. Okay? Take this. Madam Amy Brown says they support their so-called enemies' businesses. Not only do they support their enemies' businesses, they govern their enemies' businesses. When you go to they tell you, oh, white people are my enemies. But when you go to the white people businesses, it's like five black girls ready to curse you out, ready to kill you for the white man. And you're like, wow. And then she go home and she's like, black people, they fuck black people, fuck white people. You trying to make me crazy like you, girl? Get out of here. You trying to make me blind like you, girl? Get out of here. I don't have time to copy your mental illness. Leave me alone. Blind like you, girl? Get out of here. I don't have time to copy your mental illness. Leave me alone. My fragamos. Give me a break. Give me a break. Life is life. Quality is quality. Okay, so let's go back to real life, and I'm gonna leave the woke conscious Negroes right here on the network. Stop harassing my day. And if you cannot show me the kingdom, leave me alone, because I want to see the kingdom. I want to be married to a king. If you don't have it, leave me alone. You're CIA traps. You're coming to entrap me. You're coming to destroy me. How much more can I give you? You haven't taken enough. Leave me alone. Let me build my wealth. Leave me alone. Squeeze me enough. Haven't you destroyed me enough? Haven't you taken enough from me? Alright, I gotta go. You guys have a great day. Don't forget to like and share the audio broadcast.